Do you enjoy Peter Pan retellings? Well, this isn't the Peter Pan you grew up with. In Brom's The Child Thief, Neverland is dark, brutal, and filled with things that want to kill you, which raises an important question. Why are children still following the kid into the woods?
Welcome back to Bookslayers, where we put dark fiction books on trial and break down whether they committed crimes against their readers or if they get a full acquittal. We're diving deep into The Child Thief today, and by the end, we may have enough evidence to open a full investigation.
Yeah. Peter Pan needs to be put on a bloody watch list.
Peter Pan is one of the worst characters I've come across, and I only realised it while reading this book.
Like, for you, those of you who don't know, we decided we were going to try some dark grim for this deep dive. So we picked this one. And if you don't know what dark grim is, like they more commonly call it grim dark. And it's basically a subgenre of speculative fiction, so like horror, fantasy, sci-fi, that kind of thing. But it's basically done in a really brutal dystopian tone with morally ambiguous characters and basically a general lack of any heroism. And yeah, this book nailed it.
It was interesting. I haven't done this genre before, so this was new to me. I just come away with it. Like, I used to love Peter Pan, the Disney film, when I was younger. And you see Peter Pan as, I don't know, a bit of a hero. You know, he takes the kids to this wonderful land and it's all happy. I know they do a fight at the end, but, you know, he saves the day. He's the hero. What is Peter Pan in The Child Thief? Hero, villain, cult leader.
Yeah.
He is the biggest red flag that is known to man. It was truly disturbing.
Even in the Disney one, he literally kidnaps those kids. They weren't in danger. They were just home with their nanny dog, minding their own fucking business. And then he comes along and he's like,
it's not how it plays out in the film. It's such a lovely film. But when you actually think about the logic as an adult of what happened, yeah, he fucking did. Peter Pan's a fucking sociopath, psychopath. He's all the paths.
He's a path. He's a multi-path.
Multi-path.
But he literally takes these kids and turns them into child soldiers. There's body horror, murder, trauma. Like, there's no flying. There's no pixie dust. There's no cute adventures with, you know, a weird crocodile with a clock in it. So shit.
I was really sad about the not flying. I was like, where's that bit? What was quite disturbing is in the film, I was trying to remember like how he picks them. I don't know. I don't feel like there was anything wrong. He just was at their window and was like, come fly with me. Let's go and have fun. In the book, he literally is seeking out kids that are lonely, like in a bad place, depressed, like they're living on the streets. They're, you know, they've been like abused. Mm-hmm. It's very dark what he does. And then he sort of is like, come with me. And what I wanted from the book, or what I expected rather from the book, is that they would go with him and there would at least be some little bit of happiness before the darkness. There was no happiness even from when they got there, which surprised me that so many kids stayed. Because there was a lot more than, because there was a lot of characters in the book, a little bit hard to keep up with sometimes, I thought. But when like they called the Lost Boys the Devils, so we get quite used to a few of them, but there's actually like quite a lot of them. I can't put a number on it unless you can, of how many kids there are. But they all stay, but then I suppose they're all fleeing sort of abuse, whereas in the book we meet Nick. Nick doesn't really have that bad. Well, it is bad. His mother's got like, I'm waffling. Hang on. Am I waffling too much?
You're not waffling.
Like, in the book, Nick has kind of run away because his mum is sort of subletting some rooms in the house to some very not nice characters. And I think they don't treat him very well. They probably Is abuse the right word? I can't remember what happened, but basically they are abusing him, and the mother's sort of letting it happen, so he runs away. And I can't remember where I'm going with it now. Help me.
Well, he stole their drugs. He's running away. He's got their drugs.
Oh yeah, that's it.
He's got their drugs, but he's running away because they're making life so horrible for him. And she's just allowing it to happen. But Peter Pan caught him at a very pivotal moment where he knows he's being like, they've caught up to him, right? He's got the drugs. He's just about to get the shit kicked out of him. So Peter helps him. And that's how he catches him. But it's funny because I'm sitting there and I'm like, Peter Pan literally is just going around recruiting kids like, hey kid, is your home life terrible? Yeah. Want to come live in the woods? Sure. Excellent. We'll be fighting monsters on Tuesday. You know what I mean?
He needs one of them posters, like, back in the day,
Yeah.
the wall posters. We need you.
We need you. But those kids stay because they can't get home. They have to get through the mist and they don't know the path. They saw all the dead kids on their way in that got lost on the pathway. So if Peter Pan don't take them back, they're fucked.
So
And
not all the kids make it through the mist to begin with. They have to be clever enough to get through the mist to be able to become one of his devils.
devils.
It's dark.
It's grim.
Grim.
But Jesus Christ, man, I was reading it and I'm like, she's going to hate that we went down this rabbit hole. I'm like,
I've got good and bad. I'm not going to make a judgment right now. This is stupid of me because I just didn't. I think because I knew the story, like I knew the Disney film Peter Pan. I knew sort of what to expect or, what the steps will be to get to the end of the book. There was a lot of fantasy elements in there that I do struggle with. So, like, when we start talking about, I could deal with the little pixie, the little blue pixies was like, oh, like Tinkerbell, got that. Trolls, I don't know why, but I was picturing something so much different in my head that wasn't a troll. And it wasn't until there was some pictures in the book, I was like, oh shit, I've been picturing like little, I don't know, little weird round things. I don't even know what I was picturing. I can't even think where I've got this image from, apart from Moana, which I can't even really get that in my head. But anyway, story for another day. But yeah, some of the beings I couldn't get on with, but I think they was all basically human form, which I didn't get. So I was making it more fantasy in my head than what it was. So I think I made it worse for myself. But yeah, I'm not a fantasy girl, so I did struggle a little bit with some of it.
yeah. Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about it being, like, obviously I knew the grim dark would be more fantasy based with the dystopian stuff, but we picked Peter Pan. Come on. There's like fucking mermaids and pirates and fun. But no, it was everything's going to fucking eat you. Like there was.
I think it was just that it was all horrible from the moment that Nick got there. I thought there would at least be a little bit of like happiness and camaraderie, like even down to like the food was awful. Like there wasn't even like we've got a nice bit of grub and we all sit around and have a merry little time before we go and fight these fucking demon fucking shit. It was just full on like, this is shit the whole time you're here. And I was like, there is no bit of happiness in this book.
Yeah, but if you think about the logic here, do you get in the fucking van with the stranger that's offering you your favorite thing? You say no. But Nick didn't say no because he was having fun with Peter with the skateboards and he broke in and he got the shoes. And then he was like, oh shit, my mom.
Yeah, that was really, I did find all of that bit really sad, really. Once he sort of got through some things in his head and then started working out shit, I actually need to go and protect my mum. I've left my mum with these evil people.
Yeah.
And then he couldn't get Peter to take him back until he had done other stuff for him, was the premise anyway. Yeah, it was a lot.
It was so much. But the thing that Peter is a really complex character for me because you could tell that by the end of it, he really loved those kids. Like he really wanted them to be saved. And he really probably felt like he was protecting them. But how bad did these kids' home lives have to have been where that fucking place was better? And that was really sad for me.
At what point did you feel like Peter had their best interests at heart? Because I've got a completely different take, but I don't know if it's like reading the whole book or did you think that at the beginning that he was doing the right thing? Like at what point?
Oh no, I thought he was like I thought he was a fucker the whole time. It was when at the end when
Yeah.
she's like, "Come, come take your place," and blah blah blah. But he was still more concerned about doing what he promised Nick, about going and killing all
Yeah,
those
but
other
I think
people.
that was probably his only saving grace in the whole book for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
And I'm not sure why that was added at the end. I think to his character the whole time, it probably would have made sense that he didn't do it. But I'm
No,
glad
because
that he did, but also I didn't like the ending, but we'll come on to why I didn't like that later.
yeah, but Peter wanted to save Nick from that thing that was taking over him when it was like absorbing him, and she took him and put him in the water. And then when that girl was injured, he got her to take her into the water too. So he did want those kids to live. It's not like they were expendable to him. He wanted them to live. He wanted them to be okay.
No, I think he wanted people that worked for him in a sense. He wanted soldiers. I think a lot everything that come from him was pretty selfish. That's why there was like one redeeming factor at the end where he fulfilled Nick's promise.
Yeah,
I
but if
think
you
the whole time, if you look at the whole thing and what happened, I think it was selfish, the whole thing.
you know what, and I would have agreed with you right up until the point where we find out that queen lady literally was brainwashing him.
Yeah.
And she was the one that needed to protect the forest. She needed him to have an army. I don't think he had free willpower. I don't. And at the end when she was trying to convince him still and he managed to not fall for it that time, that was the point of that. Was that her grip
Yeah.
on him had loosened to the point where it was more important to keep his promise than to go and do what she wanted because she was like spellbounding him.
Yeah,
No, come
maybe
be
you're
by my
right, actually.
side.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
And he's like,
you
okay.
actually might have hit the nail on the head.
The parts where they went backwards to when Peter Pan was young, couldn't have cared less.
Oh,
I was more interested in what Nick was getting up to. Every time it jumped back in time, I'm like, oh, oh no.
I was gonna actually say go to this about when I've got some notes. I was gonna say let's go back to when it flipped back to when Peter was younger. I think it kind of builds maybe a story of why he was the way he was, why he clink
Clink, clonk,
oh,
clinkety clonk, clonk,
dear.
clonk, clonk.
Why he clinged on to Morderon? Is that her name? The lady in the lake.
Oh, fuck that. I wasn't even going to try and pronounce that.
Okay. The lady in the lake, I think he clinged on to her because he was shunned by his family, including his mum, even though the mum didn't want to, and we know that, but him as a child just knew that his mum let him go. So I wondered if that whole thing, even though I agree with you, I didn't care. I wonder if that was just to explain how he became who he became.
Yeah.
But I'm the same as you. I was more interested in Nick's story rather than Peter Pan. It felt like Peter was little bit of a side thing, and when it would go off a bit too far, I'd be like, "Yeah, but what about Nick?
Yeah.
I
What's
want to
Nick
know
doing
what's
right now?
happening with Nick." And I
What's he
don't know
eating?
if, yeah, I don't know if that was the intention or not to make it because obviously it's about the child thief, which is also a great title and a great way to refer to Peter Pan, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, was we meant to not care as much about Peter Pan as we did about Nick?
I don't know because I spoke to somebody else online and they loved the backstory and they could have done without the Nick stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm like, oh, we can't be friends. Like this is ridiculous. Every time it went back, I don't know if it was just I didn't care about how Peter became who he was, or that Nick was just way more interesting. I really can't answer that. But every time I went back, I was like, oh, not again. No, it's not
Maybe,
fair.
yeah, maybe we just emotionally connected more with Nick because he was the one that seemed more real. All the other ones didn't seem real to me
Yeah,
in that
maybe.
sense.
I don't know. It just
Yeah.
that was like this is one of the reasons why I didn't rate it a great stabby is because I could have done without all the backstory. Like, and it was a
Yeah,
long book, so you could have don't need it.
I do think the book was too long. There was
Yeah.
too much. There was far too much fluff around it all. I do get that I've sort of this is the first book that I've read by Brom, but I do get that he is like a world builder, and I get that happens a lot with fantasy, which again not my thing, which is probably why I
Yeah.
don't like it. But yeah, there was too much going on sometimes. So I was like, well, you could have cut that out. You didn't need that.
Did you like how they made like Hook and his people into like religious zealots?
I had to Google what year this book was written because there was like certain word that I come across a few times. I was like, I don't know if you're supposed to say that word anymore. Can I say the word?
What is it?
Spastic.
Yeah, no, you're not supposed to say that. But
No.
you've just
And I was
oh,
like, I don't think you're supposed to say that. So I had to Google when the book was written. I think it was like 2006. And I was like, I don't even think that was massively appropriate then.
no, but those people have been there for a long time. Like Hook was explaining that like all his sons and their kids and the kids' kids were all dead. He'd been there for 140 years. So their language would have been like that. Like some of
Yeah,
those kids, like
maybe.
Abraham had been there since like the Civil War. And Peter
Mm,
Pan was 1,400 years old. So you have to I can see why Brom used words that would have been used and
yeah.
acceptable in the times that those people were in the human realm.
Yeah, I just read it a few times. It was at least 3 times, and I was like, this must be a really old book."
And the other
And then
thing I
when I
didn't
no, go
like
on.
yeah, I know, I was just gonna say, I actually didn't understand why Peter didn't age either. Like, you made a decision to stay young because everyone else was aging just fine. He convinced those kids not to age. Like, wouldn't it have been handier to have, like, full-grown adults, like, wielding swords and shit? Why the fuck did he wanna keep them young?
Don't know. Didn't think
Yeah, it
about
didn't
that.
make
I just
sense.
like, in the Peter Pan Disney, we know it's always just kids that he takes, but I don't think they have, like, a not growing up element. Oh, no, it does. No,
They
it
do, they
totally
don't
does.
know the
Yeah,
Lost
yeah,
Boys,
they
they never
don't
grow
age,
up.
yeah.
Yeah. But the Brom didn't explain it in such a way because other things aged. Because I was like, "Maybe nothing ages," but no, that's not true.
No, but,
That
like,
wasn't
the
true.
flesh eaters don't age. Flesh eaters? Is that what they're called? They don't age either because they're all, like, 300 years old when they get back, aren't they? They don't age. Don't think anything ages, does it, when it's there?
I don't know, actually.
I don't think anything does. I think they're all, like, really old.
Yeah, but then how did because this was my thing, like, Peter was a baby, and he was 6, and then he just stopped aging, like, did he choose that point to stop aging? Are they
Oh,
making a
you mean
choice?
so you mean so when Peter was a baby, he didn't live in Avalon, did he? Or did he?
No, he was with his human family. They cast him
Yeah,
out because he was a baby. He climbed out of his crib and decided he wanted to go hang out with his mum. They're like,
that
"Oh
was
my god,
fucking
demon
weird.
child." And then that grumpy troll thing or whatever it was gonna eat
Yeah,
him
yeah.
and took him. Well, he was aging then, so what fucking stopped?
Yeah, what stopped? And also, why was he so quick when he was a baby to be like, I can sit up after 2 weeks? And they was all freaked out and was like, devil, get him out.
Yeah, get him
Well,
out.
maybe the whole of Avalon is just fucking weird. Maybe you can choose. Don't know.
Yeah, but that's what
I
I
didn't clock
wondered.
onto that at all.
I did, it really
Ooh, and
annoyed me.
I checked Reddit and I checked Goodreads because I like to check them places because they'll come up with these sort of things and be like, well, didn't fucking make sense. And I like them things because it can just be funny to talk about. But no one said that.
Yeah.
You are
Well,
the
I want
first.
like, I don't like, I understand that even Peter, if you look at the logic, is full of trauma. He can't
Yeah.
heal. He can't let go of what happened. I have to admit that him eating that spider soup thing really gave me the creeps. I was like, "Ew,"
The
and he's
spider soup, I forgot about that. Oh my god. And
yeah,
that
it was the
fucking troll, and he was like, "No, if you can't catch stuff, you eat spider soup, mate." He didn't
yeah, because
share.
the wolf kept taking his kills, right? The one-eyed wolf. Jesus
One-eyed
fuck.
Willy Wolf.
Willy Wolf, you Willy Wolf. And then you've got Nick, like, and he's got a different kind of trauma. And then you've got like all the other kids had different trauma. Oh my god, the kid that killed his dad, and he's like, and he was
Oh,
just looking at,
shit.
and he's like, my dad's
Leroy.
looking at me, not because he's upset that he's dying, but what have I done to my life? Like, look what you have to live with now. And I'm like, oh my god, I didn't need this. Like, why would you do this?
Also, I get that Peter took him because he was, like, trauma-ridden, but Leroy, like,
Yeah,
when he takes the kids to live in Avalon, if I'm saying this right,
yeah,
they have to kind of prove themselves to become, like, an official devil. Leroy was there for like fucking ages because he couldn't prove himself because he was a shit. He wouldn't battle properly. He would run away. He would hide. We find this out in the book that he carries on these traits. But why would Peter keep him around if he was like that? Why wouldn't he be like, you're shit, you can go back to the mist, mate, because you ain't helping anybody? Like, how does Peter not see that he's not the warrior that he wants? That was a question I had.
I think because he was looking for numbers. Like, he was grabbing traumatized kids, not necessarily ones that could handle it. Still a warm body. I feel that way about, like, when people do starter jobs and you can hire any teenager, like, regardless of, like, what talents they have, because it's you know, a revolving door of warm bodies.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know.
That's a hard one, actually. And it's
Yeah.
and it's funny because, like, I was watching something and they were talking about, oh, that was Fringe. And he was talking about how there's no such thing as good and evil. It's balance and imbalance in nature. Like, that's how it's distinguished. And I was like, that kind of like sounds like what we just read. Because in the forest, it's not about good and bad because it doesn't differentiate. It differentiates to who can survive and who can't.
Mm.
And I'm like, that was a really clever way of, like, not making it so much about good and evil, but who can survive and who can't, not with nothing else. And I was like, wow, Fringe is really fucking deep. Like, loving that show.
Oh, the show. Yeah, Fringe. Oh, and it's
Yeah.
got Josh Patterson. Is it that guy who was in? No, he was in.
Pacey. Yeah,
That's
Pacey from
it.
Dawson's Creek.
Why have I called him
Joshua Jackson.
Joshua Jackson. Who the fuck is Josh Patterson?
I have no idea.
Josh Jackson.
Josh Jackson. Do you know what's funny? Is that you had a massive crush on him when he was in Mighty Ducks.
But I did. But also when he was in Dawson's Creek.
Yeah. But it started in Mighty Ducks.
Oh, yeah.
You're like,
so
we
used to love watching Mighty Ducks when we was younger.
Yeah.
Love them. I've watched them with the kids as well. Yeah, you can't look at it the same way when you become a grown up. That's weird to say. But yes,
well,
when
I'll
I
never
was
look
younger.
at Peter Pan the same.
No, fuck no. My kids, well, I was going to say my kids never watched it. They're 17. They can watch whatever they fucking want. But when I have grandchildren, Peter Pan's off the fucking list.
It's like, don't go with that little boy. That's a kidnapper.
Psycho kidnapper.
At least he puts them back, but yeah.
I mean, how many red flags does someone need before we stop calling them whimsical? Like, do you know what I mean?
It should be one red flag. One. I don't know what's wrong with us as a race, man. It's like, oh, I can overlook that. Oh, I'll just pretend that didn't happen. Oh, you just misunderstood.
If you're showing something in a certain context, so that's how you see it. But I'll bet if we, like, before we started today, I was like, I wish I'd rewatched the film in the mindset of Peter Pan's a child thief to see what my thoughts were, like what would go through my head when I was watching it.
Oh, God, I should have done that.
Yeah, we should have done that. That would have been funny.
But that's all I can see in my head is like, is it the baby one, Michael, in the movie?
Yeah.
With this little romper thing on, and I'm like, you get kidnapped, bro. It's not whimsical. That's all I can see now is Peter Pan's a kidnapper.
And you think, though, at that age, like how little, I know, like actually, I don't know if it categorically says all the ages of the kids and when he took them in the book, it doesn't. But like in the film, one of them was quite young. So you think he's taken them at whatever age he deems appropriate. Like, at what age are you guaranteed to survive even a week in Avalon? Do you know what I mean?
Well, some of them don't make it out of the fucking mist.
It is like horrific. Like I said, there was no like redeeming, like, oh, at least there's a little bit of happiness that would make Nick want to stay a little bit before he realised, you know, like you have like a bit of a peak before you drop it. Yeah. There was only ever a drop. It was never good.
No, there was nothing. The only thing was when they were fighting at one point and Nick was glad that he was with the devils because he felt like he had somewhere where he belonged. And I think that was one of the themes of Peter Pan was always like, having nowhere to belong, feeling like you don't belong, feeling like a misfit. Because Nick talks about that too, about how like he was the weird kid, right? No one wanted to hang out with him. And then when he
Mm.
moved and he got the crappy shoes, and then that was just an even bigger sign on him. Whereas these kids in Avalon just they, hey, come join us. We like you. Come be part. Like that must be something quite extraordinary to a kid who's never fit in anywhere.
Yeah, because you've got that sense of family. I feel like
Yeah.
you did feel that with all the other characters. I didn't feel it with Peter Pan. Sorry, I didn't. But I did feel it with the other ones that they all felt like they was in it together. And
Yeah.
all of them would protect each other, apart from that fucking Leroy.
Yeah. He was a
Oh,
scaredy
that
cat though.
yeah,
Okay,
he's a
that's what like when you listen when you're reading it and you like Leroy's talking about like I have to tell somebody this. You realize why he's like that because he was combative against really good parents and he was just an asshole. And that was him accepting that he was an asshole. You know what I
oh,
mean?
deep. That's deep.
Like he's like I
Yeah.
did this. I'm a horrible person. That's why he took me. You know what I mean? Like that's like this was this should have been my redemption, but I really felt like Leroy didn't feel like he deserved it.
He didn't. He was an
No, he
arsehole.
didn't. He was an
I hate
arsehole.
Leroy.
I don't like him either. I felt really bad
It
for
was
Abraham. I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
why?"
yeah, that was awful, but I did also feel we'll come back to Abraham if you want, but I did also feel quite bad for Leroy. You know, when, like, the something took over him, I can't remember what it was, and then he killed Siku, Siku, someone called something like that.
I don't know. I was seeing some of the names written down. I'm like, yeah, just
But you
gloss
know what
over
I
that.
mean? It was like the girl, like, they'd saved her, she got saved by the woman in the lake, and
Yeah,
then they was all sleeping, and that one of them weird I don't know what it was that overpowered him, but it's like they overpower your mind, and it sort of
yeah,
took control of
yeah,
Leroy, and he killed her, and he didn't want to that's not actually what he wanted to do, and then he tried to play Nick, and he was like, "No, no, no, it weren't me," because obviously he knew what he was doing, but he was being controlled.
yeah,
It's a theme of the book, isn't it? A big theme of the book
yeah,
is control.
yeah.
Um,
Manipulation.
but he then tried to blame Nick. He didn't just take account for like, "This is what happened to me, and I don't know why I did it." He was just like, "No, it was Nick." And I was like, "You arsehole. Stop blaming other people, you wanker."
It was yeah, it was bad. This
That was
book,
awful.
like even though the book definitely wasn't one of my favorite reads. It wasn't bad, and the worst part is I wanted to read Slewfoot, and now I'm like, do I really want to continue with Brom? I
I
don't know.
mean, it's a no from me.
Well, yeah, obviously. But I wanted to read Slewfoot for ages, but you wanted to do this one. So I was like, okay, cool. But now I'm like, I don't know if I have it in me to continue with this author. Apparently, he does illustrations for his books.
Yeah, I had them on my Kindle. Did you not have the pictures? I'd get
No.
through and then I'd get a few what that's what made me
So-
realise the trolls are big people, they're not little squishy things.
Okay. Yeah, apparently that's a big part of who he is as an author. He likes to do it because I think he started out as an illustrator. I think I
Oh,
read
okay.
that somewhere.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, he started out as an illustrator and was just like, I can write better stories. I wouldn't say better, it's scarier, maybe.
Yeah,
Traumatizing,
dark,
dark, twisty.
awful.
I will never look at Peter Pan the same way ever again.
No,
I just
it was
can't.
yeah, it was mental. I think so you've got the whole Peter Pan side of it where he's trying to protect from, like, he's getting them ready to fight these flesh eaters who are basically people that have managed to get on the island before the lady in the lake caused the mist because she wanted to get rid of them, but what she caused them to do is stay and then age. She also caused their skin to, like, blacken. I'm not sure if that was from
Yeah.
the mist or because they were so old. I don't quite know what that was about. You've got them sort of fighting the flesh eaters, but then what you've also got is another side story of the lady in the lake and then the trolls, and then there's another guy. I haven't written this name down. I'm gonna go Ulfgar. No fucking idea how you say the name. Can't even remember how it's spelt now. But he's basically like, I don't know, like a type of demigod because their dad was a god and he was
The
called
horned god, yeah.
a horned god, and he was the son of the horned god. Horned god is dead. keep saying horn. It's making me laugh. I'm such a child. Sorry. Um, so there's a whole story of that on the side as well. And to me, there was just because I'm not used to fantasy, there was just a bit too much going on and trying to keep up with all the different characters and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, how did you find that?
Like I said, I didn't mind all the devil stuff. I actually quite enjoyed that. I enjoyed the stuff with the lady in the lake and the mist stuff. I just didn't like going back. Like, I understand that some people need that. They need to get a full look at who Peter Pan was and what he was doing and why he was doing it. I couldn't have cared less.
To be honest,
Like,
if
if
they
I
took
could have,
that out of the book, it wouldn't have made a difference.
not for me, it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have.
No.
But it would have been a shorter book and I may well have enjoyed it more. I didn't care. I'm like, so what? Peter's a fucking asshole. Get on with it. He's that shitty HR department. It's got like the glossy brochure, like, oh, come work here. We take such good care of you. And then you find out it's all a lie. You can't quit. You can't quit. You die.
He should do his own LinkedIn, like, "Hi, Jackie, I notice you're passionate about adventure. We've got an exciting opportunity in a fast-growing woodland startup. Competitive immortality package. Look forward to connecting with you." That's his LinkedIn.
Could you Oh, that's hilarious. But could you imagine what a TripAdvisor would look like for Avalon? The reviews would be brutal.
Oh, God.
Come have adventures in our mist-filled woods. Like, you're like, fuck. You get a sword in your
Amazing
hand.
food.
You live in a cage.
Do you like spider soup?
Oh, no.
It's a delicacy here.
See, how would Peter get you to go with him? If it was you, for me, it would be like, hey, there's a secret library in here, but you have to come with. I'll be like, fuck yeah, let's go, bro.
Oh, to get me to go anywhere, good food, alcohol. Sold. But
Wow.
if when I got there, that didn't transpire very quickly, I'd be like, hang on a minute.
Yeah, but you
When are we
can't
doing
turn around. I know, but you can't turn around. As soon as you're in the mist, that's it.
I'd try.
But you die.
I
I'd be
wouldn't.
stepping over your bones trying to get to my books.
Yeah, I'd be dead. I wouldn't last a minute in Avalon. I'd be dead.
It gave me the creeps. I'm glad he didn't talk about no giant spiders because that would have really upset me.
I was in bed when he started talking about spider soup. And what was they hunting? You could have the spider soup, or they was hunting, like, what was it, just like squirrels or something? I don't think that.
He had
I
a
was in
hair, I
bed,
think.
and all of a
Yeah.
sudden I was like, ugh, I'm itching. What's going on? I don't like
I
it. And he
know,
mentioned spiders, and it freaks me out.
Oh, Mike was like, oh, look, I've got a spider bite. I'm like, oh,
Mm. Go
don't
away.
do that. Don't. I don't know. I'm like, do you know how you could have stopped Peter Pan if there had been a social worker involved in any of those kids' lives? Like, all they needed was a fucking social worker. It was just, I don't know. I could see like the horror stuff in here. I could see like it's like end of the world stuff for them in there, like Avalon. But the worst part that hit me was like these kids felt they had no other choice but to follow this kid they knew nothing about. And they weren't little kids, right? They were like teenagers.
yeah.
Because Nick was 16, right? And I'm like,
They-
that's your only option is to go with this boy. But did you notice that he couldn't take them unless they said they were willing to go? Like they actually had to say that.
What was that about? He had to be like, you need to say this first. Is this like a manipulation, like mind control kind of vibe?
I didn't know if that's what had to open the doorway because he was in the human realm, right? Like I'm wondering if it had to for them to be able to cross over, they had to say it. And that opened the magic. Like, I don't know. But I felt really, I don't know. I was more bereft for these poor kids that had no other choice because their home lives were so bad. That fucking island was the safest option for them. And I don't know. I got a little bit misty eyed. I did. I was like, that's really sad that these poor teenagers had no other than Leroy, other than Leroy.
I found it, I definitely wasn't near misty-eyed, but I did find it quite sad to think that these kids would lay down their life. Like literally, there was one part of a battle and it was literally like, obviously you're about to die. And they still fought and they still went through. But then I suppose fight or flight kicks in, like even with normal people. And I'm not saying like fighting to the death, but in situations, it's like you either try and face something or you run away. And
Yeah.
them kids still chose to stand in front of him and fight, and I found that really sad that he could manipulate people that much. What was referred to a lot in the book, or a line that was repeated a lot, was for Peter's smile was the most contagious thing. And
Yeah.
it really hit home that if someone's nice enough to you and they smile enough at you, they can get you to do whatever they want you to do, was what I got from that.
I
And
don't
that's
remember.
horrid to think, like, in life, like, if someone's just always nice to you, it's worrying that then people can manipulate some people. I'm not saying everyone.
No. I see where you're going with that, and that is quite terrifying because, "Oh, you'd be nice to me, so I will do things for you that I wouldn't normally do because you're nice." Like, yeah, I can totally see that. But oh god, what was I gonna say? Oh, what was that? I can't remember the kid's name when he's talking about how he was, on the streets and he was selling himself, like, pimping himself out, and then the pimp and then that pimp, beat the crap out of him, and he was eating dumpster food, and he was just about to get killed by that guy, and Peter saves him. That kid right there felt like his life had been saved by Peter, and that's why he was so hell-bent on making sure that he did what Peter wanted, was because he gave him back his life.
He could never pay him back as much as what he did for him in that moment.
Yeah.
And that is like it's amazing that he saved him in that moment, but it doesn't mean that you owe someone for the rest of your life. But
No, but
I do get how someone would feel like that.
yeah, but they're just kids too. What do you know? If you've been through so much trauma and you feel safer in there, like, I don't know, that's was one of the gut-wrenching things for me was when he was telling his story, and I'm like, "Jesus fuck, Brom. The fuck's wrong with you, bro?"
I know
Stomach
it
hurt.
the book does make you think a lot. I I want to know your thoughts on when we are introduced more to the flesh eaters. This is near the end of the book, and we start meeting the captain, and there's a reverend. And in my head, I was like, Captain trumps reverend, but apparently you start to work out it doesn't.
Mm.
But the captain, who, in your head, if you know Peter Pan, you'd obviously go, oh, that's
Look,
the other side to Captain Hook.
yeah.
But he becomes a bit of a goody, and I don't know how I felt about that.
I think that was the whole point because they tried to humanize Peter as well. They humanized Hook. Hook wanted to get home to his boys. Like, how would you feel if that was you stuck on that place, thinking you could get back to your girls? What would you do?
Well, no, but I understand that, but what I mean is in the Disney film or whatever, Hook is just like the big baddie, but in the book, he chose to portray the captain as actually a bit of a goody,
Yeah.
and that messed my head up because I wasn't ready for Hook to be or Captain to be the goody, so they what do they do? So they end up in a fight, the flesh eaters get control of some of the boys, they've got them in, like they're a bit locked up, but
Yeah.
he tries to get one of the boys to talk to the lake to get them to take him to the lady in the lake so that they can free themselves from Avalon, so they can clear the mist, they can go home.
Mm.
So Danny is the first boy or the only boy that is like, I'll help you basically. But then he takes quite a shine to Danny because he reminds him of his son. But the problem that I had with that as the character, because you relate it so hardly to Captain Hook, is the Reverend is obviously the baddie, but Brom has chosen to make Captain a goodie and the Reverend the baddie, and I feel like it messes your mind up a bit as a reader because you're not expecting it that way round. If it was like Captain was the baddie and then you got the Reverend being nice, you'd be like, that makes sense. I feel like he's deliberately made it not make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly why. Because I think we only get because this is how I felt about because we keep bringing this Disney movie up. In the Disney movie, we're getting Peter's perspective on why Hook's a baddie. Like, that's it. All we get is Disney's version of why. Whereas really, we don't really get any context about who Hook really is. Whereas I feel like the religious zealots went fucking nuts in this book. I'm just like, fuck it all.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
thought it was clever actually to bring religion into it in such a way to make them all seem like they're the
Fucking
unhinged ones.
nutcases. It was just fucking annoying, but yeah, I do get it, and it probably did make the book better, just because it made me go and I like something that makes me go, "What the fuck is going on? This is not what I expected." I did like that element of the book, but it still, like, annoys me a
Yeah.
little bit. But it's weird, isn't it? Because obviously you've got all these flesh eaters, you've got the captain, you've got the reverend, and we know sort of where their place is, but all the other flesh eaters follow the both of them. But why is it that it's only the captain that seems to either care about the boys or just care about getting home? Because even when they get home, none of them are still happy. They're still fighting. And captain's like, "We're back. What are you doing? Let's just stop now. We're all
Yeah.
free." And they're still going for it. Like,
Because
what was
I
that?
because I honestly believe that Brom's whole book is purely about trauma. They're all traumatized from being on that island. It's kind of like let's say two different countries are at war all the time. There's child soldiers and they move to other countries to get away from the fighting and they come across someone from the other side again, but that they were already fighting. That's not that animosity is not going to go away. The trauma is still there. And I think that's what Brom was really trying to show everybody is that trauma is the real enemy. Trauma was the villain in this book.
Ooh, so deep.
I know. What's
That
fucking wrong
means
with
very
me?
different. Yeah, you've read too many books, I think.
I think it's because it was the trauma in this book that really got to me. And I think that's where that's the part that stayed with me as I was reading was these poor kids were traumatized. Even the fucking the Hook character was traumatized. He couldn't get back to his kids, and as far as he was concerned, the Miss was holding him hostage, which is exactly what was happening. Like, so this chick was holding them hostage, didn't let them out. She could have. She could have gone, "Oh, you want to go home? I'll open the passageway. Get the fuck out." So why was she
Wasn't it?
holding them there?
I had questions about the whole mist thing, and it was like, if she let the mist down, then it would open it up to, like, the real world. But one of my questions was, which I did sort of go down a bit of a Reddit hunt of trying to find out, like, if they didn't want the flesh eaters there, why didn't she just lift the mist? Because they wanted to leave anyway. Get out, put the mist back, even though that was, like, killing her powers. So she was always like, because she can't, like, she can't do anything now. She's totally in a state of, like, tiredness.
Yeah.
I didn't get the point of that, even though there was something with the ferry boat at the end, right?
Mm,
And I don't know if I've read this properly, but what I thought had happened was they'd taken the lady out, the mist had come down, which I don't think is true. They'd got on this ferry boat and then made it to, like, Central Park
mm.
in New York. So I was like, well, if the mist is down, she's now left. They're gonna go back. She's always protecting the island from, like, normal humans as well, not just
Yeah.
flesh eaters, which was normal humans. When they go back, what's gonna happen then? Is she
That's
putting
why
the mist
she
up?
Yeah, that's why she needed Peter. She was like, "You need to protect what's left. We need to rebuild." Like, there was things were starting to grow again, remember, before like there's something had happened and the stuff was starting to grow again because it was all becoming destroyed. It was they had to go travel out further to get food. So I could see what she
Mhm.
was up to. I don't know. I kind of felt like she was a lot to blame for what was going on.
She was the master manipulator. She
Yeah,
controlled
but she was
Peter and he controlled his people.
yeah,
It was her fight that
yeah.
she made Peter do and made the kids do against the
Mhm.
flesh eaters who didn't want to be there in the first place. So it was all actually pointless. If they all just had a chat, we could have all just, like, got on with our day.
I love that. They just had a let's fucking sit down and a little
Let's
powwow.
all be grown-ups and have a fucking chat about it. Let's not
Jesus fuck,
fight.
man. That's fucking funny. That's funny.
How did you feel about the ending with Nick?
Aw. No.
I was fucking livid. I was
I
like,
was not
"You've got
okay
all
with
this
it.
way." I was fucking fuming. I was more fuming that the stupid fucking lady in the lake was there. She could have saved him. She didn't care.
She
That's
didn't
not
care.
our people.
Mhm.
Not our people, not my problem.
Yep.
I was so angry. I was happy
I
that
was
Peter was
livid.
gonna go back and do his
Protect the mom.
fulfill his promise, but I don't think it made up for I feel like Nick should have survived.
Yep. I didn't like that one bit. I think that was the biggest disappointment in the whole book is that he didn't at least get to see his mum. Why not say, "Peter, can you get me back to my mum so I can say goodbye?" That
Oh,
would have
that
been
would have been even
better.
more traumatizing. Watching right, or reading the whole goodbye. I don't know if that feels worse. I feel like he should have been able to make it back. It could have opened up another story. So, like, Peter went back, Nick's there. There could have been another story followed on. I don't know what. I'm not a writer. That might be a shit idea as well. But I don't know. I wasn't actually even thinking that. I was just like, the whole book is Nick trying to get home.
Yeah,
Out of order,
that's all he
Brom.
wanted.
Out of order. Didn't like it.
I didn't either, but you know what? I think this shows that he made a decision, and because he didn't think it through, what happened? He died. Because instead of thinking about the logic here, he ran away with his, what was we saying earlier about the devil and the angel on our shoulders? He listened to his little devil, and his devil got him killed. And I think that's a really important lesson, is maybe you should think things through before you act.
Like I do. So the conversation that we was having off camera before we started this was, I was like, I don't know what type of monitor to buy. And I was like, I get like the expensive one that has the angel, the devil, and the one that is probably okay, which is on my angel side. And what did we say will win?
Well, the devil always wins with me. Like,
The devil wins.
It's like you can save money next month.
I mean, this is not life or death. This is a monitor.
I know, but it's just, but if you think, okay, so if you buy the more expensive monitor and then all of a sudden something goes wrong in your car, you're like, fuck. See, and that's a consequence of making a decision, right? And
you just made me
consequence.
lean more to the cheaper monitor now. Thank you.
See, I'm the angel on her shoulder right now. But my
I
point
wouldn't
was that,
call you the angel. You're always the devil on my shoulder.
yeah, probably. I'm a bad girl. But I guess my point is that he made a decision and Brom showed the consequences of not thinking through. Like, yes, things are shitty, but maybe you should deal with the shit pile that you're in rather than seeing if the shit pile over here smells a bit less.
Yeah. Agreed. And do you know what? Yeah, it was probably, in a way, not realistic that if you take chances that you always end up in the shit, but he did make a decision and then he lived by the consequences.
Yeah. And
So
died by the consequences.
maybe it's a lesson to all of us. Be ready to die on that sword.
Yeah, maybe if somebody is promising you something that sounds too good to be true, it probably fucking is.
It always is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go on then. What was the game? Because I'm a bit scared.
So, would you survive this? You wake up in Neverland. How long do you survive? 10 minutes? 1 day? 1 week? Or do you become a forest cryptoid?
Absolutely a day, because I would hold out to see if there is any alcohol coming. 10 minutes is a bit presumptuous. But if that's what I was told was there, I'd wait like a day within that first day. Probably 12 hours, I think is fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a brilliant answer. Okay. So what about if Peter offers you eternal youth? Do you accept immediately, ask questions, run, or call Child Protective Services?
Hang on, but I'm not a child. Or am I supposed to be a child at this point?
You're supposed to be a child, yeah.
Oh, eternal youth. Damn. Done. I'm an idiot. Yeah. My adult self would ask some questions, but my child self would have gone, that sounds great. Let's do that.
Okay. What is scarier? Peter Pan, the monsters, the fairies, or the realization that Peter is technically the hero?
Well, Peter ain't the hero, so let's disregard that one. Peter Pan's the bad one because he's so manipulative and so controlling. What made you laugh at that?
You're like, he's not the hero. I don't feel like he was the bad person because he was being brainwashed and manipulated. So it's just funny how we both like viewed this so different.
He's still recruiting little kids to go and
because
do
he
his
was being made to. He was being made to. It was magic. He had no control.
If I if I wanted someone dead and I walked you or I told you, take me to that place or I'm going to kill you as well, and you took me there, by law, you're as liable as I am. You've took me to commit murder. So that all makes fucking sense in my head. That's the laws of the world, gal.
Oh my fucking God. You are hilarious. You fucking slayed me today. Slayed me. That's
Tag
funny.
that.
Okay. Whew.
Compose yourself.
I can't. I'm trying not to let my eyes water. So to wrap it up, I personally feel like this whole book was just trauma-based bonding and people putting their trauma on other people and perpetuating this cycle of trauma. Because that's what I feel like Peter Pan did to all these kids.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
100%.
living in this shit, you're living in this shit, everyone's living in this shit. Now you're part of our war because we got to protect ourselves. Like, I don't know. It was, for me, it wasn't so much horror, even though it was pretty fucking horrific. But I felt like it was, yeah, end of the world. Like, this is
Traumatic.
dystopian.
Grim, I do think is the right word because some of the
Yeah.
scenes were definitely grim
Oh,
and
fucking grim.
a bit not overly graphic as in like blood everywhere, but like the explaining of like how people were killed and stuff would be, and like putting all the kids' heads on like sticks, like the flesh eaters.
Yeah.
Like it was very dark. But yeah, I mean, what was your stabby rating?
I gave it 3.5
I
stabs.
went 3 as a person who doesn't like fantasy, but I try to take my dislike of that out of it because I do think a lot of people would like the book and I didn't want to rate it down if you're into fantasy. So it's something that
Yeah.
I wouldn't normally pick up and I don't normally rate like that either and I won't always. But yeah, I went 3 stabbies because I think the story did develop. It was good, but I honestly at some points could have put the book down and gone, don't need to pick it up again. But
Yeah.
that's because I don't enjoy the fantasy side of it. But I think there's a lot of people that would like the book, and it is quite interesting to see the different side of Peter Pan.
Yeah, it's funny because you keep calling it a fantasy, whereas I understand that it had fantasy elements, but I wouldn't recommend this to a fantasy reader at all. Now, if somebody read horror, yeah, I wouldn't. So JC reads a lot of fantasy. I wouldn't say, well, fuck, pick Brom up. Nah, fuck that. I would never say that in a million years. If she liked dystopian, sure. If she liked horror, sure. But this is definitely not a book I would recommend for anybody that likes fantasy. A dark retelling, sure.
Yeah, maybe that's a bit more specific then, isn't it? I would say like a dark fantasy though. I don't know if that's a specific genre on its own.
Yeah.
I think fantasy comes under one umbrella, but yeah, dark fantasy, I would say.
Yeah, I don't think there was as much of the fantasy elements in I guess maybe there was. I don't know. Reading it, I do read fantasy and I'm like, I wouldn't have called it a fantasy, I guess.
So as someone who doesn't read fantasy, when you're building worlds like that and it's all like the forest and the magical lake and stuff, to me that
Yeah.
intrigues me as fantasy, not as like I was going to give another example then. I suppose Hunger Games, although I don't think you'd call it a fantasy, it's more like dystopian, but it is like a bit of a fantasy world because it's not real. Do you get what I mean? I think as not
Yeah.
like someone who doesn't read fantasy, depends on
Yeah.
your thought process of what that means. I would call it a dark fantasy and definitely, yeah, a retelling, a grim retelling.
Dark
It was
grim
grim.
retelling. I'm not even joking, okay? I agree with you. I think that Peter was a bit of a cult leader. And I think you should go in with severe caution if you want to read this book. Now, I only gave it 3.5 stabbies because there were things I didn't need, and it wasn't the fantasy stuff. I did not need the Peter stuff. It didn't. I think it could have been a lot shorter. I think it could have been a lot snappier. I also felt that Brom's writing in places went a little juvenile. I'm not going to lie. Like you could tell that I could tell that he wasn't a writer, that he had made the decision to become a writer because he was an illustrator.
I didn't get that at all.
Really? Oh, there was
Yeah.
some really there was some spots in there and I'm like, you clearly didn't have either a good editor or you didn't edit this.
I will caveat though with it was a big book. I had to get through it. I wasn't massively enjoying it. I was trying to do that skim read really fast. So maybe I missed, but I didn't get that from it. But I
Yeah.
also, to me, I wouldn't recommend it unless it was someone who liked fantasy and they liked the idea of a retelling of that story. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
going around to anyone saying, "I'll read this book." But I would like to say though, it is rated quite highly. I think it's over 4 stars on Goodreads.
Yeah.
So if it's the right genre for you, I think you would really enjoy it. For me, it was just too long. I also think though, in the last few episodes, we've read a lot of really long books and it's really pissing me off. I'm quite like, I'll just relate it to, I've just recently listened to Frida McFadden, The Divorce, and just the two parallels. I know they're completely different books, but I was excited to listen to that book. I wasn't excited to read this book on a personal
You
level.
picked it. This
We
is the
both
funniest.
picked it.
We went through because we decided we were going to go for Dark Grim. She picked a book.
Out of everything dark grim,
Yeah.
it was the best of a bad bunch to me.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Guys, what did you think about how we slayed this book? I actually quite enjoyed talking to Jackie because Jackie gives me these different viewpoints on how she feels about a book. And sometimes we don't align, and that's really quite amusing. But if
Yeah.
you have read this book, let us know what you think about Peter. Do you think he was a hero? Do you think he was a villain? Do you think he was a traumatized kid just doing the very best that he could? Or do you think he was just one huge walking red flag? We want to hear your hot takes. So let us know in the comments and maybe give us some of your unhinged theories as well. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode today, you should definitely be following Bookslayers wherever you are listening. Give us a review, share this episode. Definitely hit our Patreon because that's where some of the more unhinged magic happens. We hope that you have the reading week you deserve, readers, and we will catch you next week. Take care.
See you soon.